pharmaceutical transportation through air cargo is growing rapidly. India, which is the ninth biggest producer of pharmaceutical, currently holds 3.4% of the world market share in value. Hi, this is Karvi Rana from Logistics Insiders, and I am here at the third edition of Agility, the Unbroken Cold Chain, a thought leadership event in Novotel, Hyderabad. The event, which aims to bring in the whole industry under one roof, will give us some insights on the challenges, quality, training, cost, and much more.
All of you must be guessing why we come back to Hyderabad year after year, because Bombay and Delhi we don't get time to relax really. We're battling a lot more things, so we've always thought it's easy to operate out of Hyderabad. So we've got a whole lot of dignitaries who've come in from all parts of the world. So we've put in 2 days of a very detailed program which I will be sharing. For any program to start, we start with the auspicious lighting of the lamp. So may I request Mr. Kishore, Peter Pencil, James Hill to step forward and do the lighting of the lamp, please.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
In this video, we'll take a quick look at what's currently known about the virus. Keep in mind that this is a new virus, and what's known about the virus now might change in the future.
Distinguished dignitaries in the dais, Mr. Peter, Mr. James, and Mr. Krishna Kumar. Distinguished delegates from across the globe and also from all over India, and our esteemed stakeholders and partners. It's very heartening to see that this event is growing exponentially, like our cargo is happening, cargo growth is happening exponentially. Last year, I was a part of this event. I thought it was a very small event. But this year, when I see the representation and the size and the themes which are being covered also have grown exponentially. So once again, let me formally welcome all the international delegates to India and Hyderabad. Agility has been our esteemed partner over the last few years, and especially the driving force, Mr. Satish, full of energy and enthusiasm to do something different. So once again, I congratulate Satish for your dynamism and also your team for organizing this great event. As you all know, the focus is on cold chain, and the adjective is unbroken cold chain. Yep. So maybe we can also say how to extend the cold chain instead of getting into negative semantics of breaking the cold chain or broken cold chain. What is that we have to do to expand, to elongate this cold chain further and further? I think that is the whole theme. And when you think about the cold chain as the spinal cord, there are so many people who have to support it so that it becomes stronger and it becomes longer. And I think I'm very happy that almost all the stakeholders are represented here. I see people from airports, I see people from the freighter industry, I see people from the airline industry, the main users of this logistics cold chain, the pharma and other perishable industry, all of them are represented here. The suppliers and vendors are represented here. I'm sure some of the government regulatory representatives are also there. So there are a number of players who have to ensure that this cold chain is stronger and it becomes longer every year.
As we all know, Hyderabad is fortunate to have a huge mass of land to really do a lot of stuff. But when it comes to Mumbai airport, it's the most constrained airport in the world. But when you have an environment of constraints, what needs to be done is you have to be the most efficient. So if you see the volume of cargo and the vision on what we have done for the pharma specifically, is something which we don't have land, but we had really capitalized the land for a growth for pharma, and that's the reason if you see last 3 years, there has been an exceptional growth in pharma at Mumbai airport. And probably what we have done is, the 3 major factors we have done is to create an infrastructure for pharma driven. We're the first airport in India to get the CIV certified end-to-end supply chain, and that was the key USP for us. And also to be part of the strategic members for Pharma.Aero, which India Mumbai airport has been working on. What is the USP? What exactly? What is different than others?
Again, this big plants and all, again, what we have is, since we have a global presence, so we are doing a kind of a reuse of this. So recycling. And again, if it is in damaged condition also, we are collecting it, we are making it to beads, and again, it's going to our sister company called Airplan. So we are reusing.
Like if you're talking about pharma, and right from the manufacturing, this thing, there is a process of certification, quarantine, and getting all the clearances. So at each stage, we should avoid the handling of cargo. So that means all these players can, whether even though they are distinct players in the value chain, can we bring them spatially closer? So an entire land side ecosystem we are developing here, so that all the regulatory clearances, quarantine, this thing, certification, all things happen very near to the aircraft. So then minimize the number of handling, minimize the duration between each process. So that is one thing that we are doing. The other thing is, for any logistics industry to develop, you should give all the options to the players. So Hyderabad is a perfect example where all the multimodal transport options are available. If you take Hyderabad Airport, located in the south of Hyderabad, it's a greenfield development which is happening. There is an expressway, outer ring road, which takes you to any part of the country without touching the city, right? There is a rail head, there is an air cargo head. Government is now focusing on southern Hyderabad to develop into a larger aerotropolis. So, In Adipatla, there is an aviation aerospace park which is getting developed. And in Kandakur, 15-20 kilometers from here, a large pharma city is getting developed. We are in all one-stop shop for the entire pharma industry, whether it is R&D, whether it is certifications, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is packing, everything will be developed there. I believe, and we have a very proactive, progressive government which believes in ease of doing business, which believes in giving clearances within a specified time frame, which believes in supporting the industry.
This industry allows you to be entrepreneur first. I came in this industry at the age of 22, 40 years before. I made millions of dollars out of nothing. I continue to make money. So if that's the way to move forward, you can build a professional company. You can start from small to bigger. There are 9 big champions I know personally in our industry in India who has made money. Latest, one of my colleagues, 6 of them, left Blue Dart and set up a company called Ecom Express. And they got $240 million funding from day one. And these kids have 30% of the company. So you're now looking something like $60 million in your pocket to start with. The only problem is here, people get to too much of that easy thing what they have. There are 15,000 forwarders in this country who are an entrepreneur. There are 1.5 million truck operators in this country having 4 trucks. They are all entrepreneurs. They employ, this trucking company employs something like 1.5 million people, maybe more, 2 million people. Aviation industry, cargo alone, will employ 500,000 people by 2025. Now, where you can get opportunity like this in any other industry? I think the fault lies with us. We have not marketed. There is everywhere recession. You know, the good part of the logistic is, if there is a recession, you still make money. If there is boom, you still make money. If it is flat, you don't make money. I think no industry gave you this unique that in recession also you can make money. You need to put your mind, your body, your energy, and your life. You will make money.
Yeah, so in my opinion, the image of the logistics industry is not negative, contrary. The freight forwarder, he has to have know-how in insurance business, in bank business, if it comes to letter of credits, if he has transportation to be covered, he has to have know-how in customs clearance, in all these fields. Whereas if you work in a bank, you are a specialist in bank. If you work in insurance, you're a specialist in the insurance business. And the scope here, the range where know-how is needed in the transportation business, especially in freight forwarding, is huge. So I think this is absolutely not a negative image here, contrary.
As you can see, the tagline is for us and became more and more important. Move by people, move by you. Because still we believe that the personal touch makes the difference at the end of the day anyway. Yes, we have to create an infrastructure that can deliver your products to the place as agreed at the right temperature. But the people behind, those are making the difference. So going forward, we always said, where are we today is because of our staff. And our staff make it possible for you to grow and to grow together.
To me, the unbroken supply chain is being able to provide a customer and it doesn't matter whether it's the manufacturer or the purchaser, particularly in the pharma space of drugs, with information about where their product is, what condition it's being held in, and when they can expect a delivery. Able to provide real-time information regarding the status of cargo, particularly today where increasingly you're seeing freight from, say, India to Europe is moving via the Middle East, so you've got transshipment. Real-time information around where the cargo is and what it's doing. If it's left on the tarmac, someone knows about it and doesn't find out 2 days later. So I think for me, unbroken supply chains around that information flow between us as the logistics provider and our customers.
India, of course, has 14,500 kilometers of navigable waterways. And it's been a very interesting journey as we've worked with government to test the efficacy and viability of these waterways. So we've run a few trials during the course of 2019. We did one from Varanasi to Kolkata in March last year. Then we did containers from Kochi to Kottayam. And more recently, we did containers actually all the way to Jebel Ali. So that is quite, and that was chilies, green chilies. So I think we're learning more about how this is going to work. I think we're in constant dialogue with government agencies in order to work together and collaborate on making it an effective and scalable choice for customers. But I think it's got a long way to go to develop from an infrastructure point of view in terms of terminals, from a cost point of view, from a frequency and availability of vessels perspective. So I think it's interesting, it's developing, it's moving, but there's still some way to go.
We're trying to move as much as we can by ocean instead of air, where possible, of course. We believe if you've got the right inventory and the right view on your inventories around the globe, there is room to move into ocean freight. Also, the quality of ocean freight is improved with pharma services from different carriers, and we are even working on splitting it. So if you have 100 pallets, you can do 4 by air to make sure you have enough inventory. You can do the remaining 96 pallets by ocean, but that means you've got a full batch at the destination without jeopardizing the inventory levels or sales.
So pharma has been one of the earliest adopters of the ERP, or the system of record for supply chain management. And then on top of it, we have a very sophisticated planning engines, which we now call integrated business planning. So we do the end-to-end planning on digital platforms. That is one. And then this platform also integrates with the different systems in the organization. So.
We perfectly understand that there are many different commodities, and every commodity has different needs and a different supply chain. And that is also why we customize our cold chain solutions as per the requirements of our customers. So what are the benefits? Why would you choose Maersk as a cold chain logistics partner? Well, first of all, because our cold chain solution is a one-stop shop. These days, shippers, they need to deal with multiple vendors. There are multiple touch points, and this can slow down the cargo delivery process. With our solution, there's a one-stop shop, so there's basically one point of contact, one person who is coordinating the whole process, make sure that the booking is being placed, equipment is being blocked, there is space on the vessel, which is way easier for a customer, so it really improves the ease of doing business. It can reduce cost, and again, it speeds up the whole cargo delivery process.
So we now move on to the really exciting stuff, which is the partner awards, and I know everyone's been eagerly waiting for this. But I need everybody to show me that eagerness. So can everybody just give a huge round of applause for yourselves for this lovely day that you've had.
with this, we come to the end of the 2-day unbroken cold chain and farm merging expert. Really delighted that we could put in a lot of new subjects on it and really take a lot of takeaways. So quickly to summarize today's morning, we had the quality, compliance and training session. A lot of things that came out of that track, where we had Tushar, Captain Ramanujam, Roland Rappel, we had Vilas, and we had deliberated on the importance of training as a very important aspect. Then we had the second track, which was on contract logistics as well, which was done by Ravi Tumapalli. Lot of insight on the need for the agencies to collaborate better and the growth potential that is there in the contract logistics sphere. We've also agreed technically that on the contract logistics, probably once Ravi is back in Bombay, we'll meet up to see what else can be done. We had the session on digitalization, which was done by Dr. Ravi Prakash Mathur. Lot of insights that came starting from TagBox to Intel speaking about, into Valley speaking on what is being done, SAF Marine's initiatives. So I think we've got quite a bit of information and insights in terms of what is already happening really in that sphere. Counterfeit was definitely a difficult subject for us to find speakers with authority on it, but I think surely we will work on it in the coming thing, and surely we're looking forward for the next year conference. Thank you very much, and looking forward to see you all soon, and safe travels, happy Valentine's Day and a great year ahead, and that's it. Bye, namaste.
I think this is an event which is so different from all the events that happen across the globe, not in specific to India, because any other event is normally managed by some agency or the other, and not the logistics player himself taking the initiative to run an event. And why we do this is that we've realized that the most of the conferences that we attend, we don't get industry initiatives addressed as per our requirement, and they're not taken up with the governments and the rest of them. So having understood the needs of the pharmaceutical industry, 4 years ago we started taking up initiatives one after the other with the X-ray machine issues, packaging solutions, and as a process this event has grown leaps and bounds, and as you can see, 22 countries participating with 300 delegates with over 15 detailed presentations giving insight into the handling of the pharmaceuticals, and also we've added the perishable track this year to address the farmer issues in this country, more specifically to see what we can do for the unorganized sector really.